Hey, everybody, what's going on? I'm just getting some technical stuff, still trying to manipulate this thing. But hope you are having a great holiday season, the second day of Kwanzaa. And you see, I have a special guest with me. I told you that we would have a special guest on tonight, so I will be on my best behavior. Don't you guys cause me to do anything that I wouldn't. And tonight we're going to be talking about strengthening relationships, friendships, and safe boundaries, especially with our grown children. Many of us have had a problem with that, but plug in my microphone so you can hear me a little better. Um, let's see how we're doing here. To the people, wifey.
Oh, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Jeff Experience. I'm his wife, Karen, proud wife, might I say, um, and proud mother of three, and proud grandmama of five. So great to see you all. Hope you had a wonderful holiday, and we're excited to talk about this subject regarding relationships tonight.
So we're going to be talking about relationships, but it's not just relationships between married couples. We're talking about friendships. We're talking about relationships. We're talking about even friendships on your job, any type of relationship that you have. We want to help to strengthen that. Um, Again, we're no experts in this, but based upon the research that we have done, we want to share some tidbits and then some personal stuff, that we can assist with. So if you're watching us tonight, we're broadcasting live through Instagram. And you know what? Let me pull that up just in case there's some over there because this is new. Um, Instagram has just started with StreamYard, and so it's all new over there. So you guys over there, if you're on Instagram and you are putting together some comments or you something, just bear with me. I'm going to get to you. I'm going to get to you. Just hold on. But in the meantime, if you got any comments, you're watching us through Facebook Live or YouTube, just go ahead and put in the comments. I see my sister-in-law Pam is with us. Hey, Pam.
Hey, Pam. Good to see you.
And
Thanks for joining.
absolutely, we are going to get right into this. We don't want to hold you long. We want to get right into this. And so we want to talk about relationships and how to make them better. So we've got the first thing I want to talk about, or we want to talk about, is communication. Yeah, everyone talks about, hey, Sister Sharon, um, so glad to see you. We want to talk about communication. We always hear communication, communication, communication. Well, it's because communication is key to what we're talking about. So, clear and open communication is fundamental. Encourage honest conversations. Again, we're talking about any type of relationship, marriage, friendship, whatever it is. Um, Clear and open communication is fundamental. We need to encourage honest conversations, active listening, and the expression of thoughts and feelings without judgment. Now, before I go any further, let me deal with this active listening, okay? Because that's the issue that a lot of people have a problem with. So, active listening is making sure that you listen. I'll say it like this: what with my kids, my wife, they all know when I talk about listening, they know what I'm gonna say. Listen to what a person is saying so that you can hear what they're saying. Now, that didn't make sense to me when it was told to me, but as I learned about it, I understood. Listen to what a person is saying so that you can hear what they're saying. That's active listening. Don't listen with a predetermined response. Listen to see exactly what that person is saying so that you know how to respond. And one of the great techniques in communication skills is repeating what that person said. For instance, um, let me get this straight. So here's what I heard, and then repeat what it is that you heard. And that shows the other person that you are listening. And when you repeat what they said, it may point something out to them, and they may say, wow, I said that. Yeah, you did. You have anything to say to that?
Yes, I do. On my job, I'm a nurse in my profession. And on my job, we use motivational interviewing. And when we're talking with our, we call them members, or they're really patients. But when we're talking to them, yes, we do what Dr. Jeff said. Repeat what they're saying for confirmation, because part of communication is you understanding what they're trying to convey to you. So you repeat what they said for confirmation, and then be open to whatever their response is, because they may not have meant to say what you thought you heard. Also, I always say, tell me more about that, so that they know, that confirms to them that you're listening, you're attentive, and you are interested in what they're saying. So that all of that together is active communication, it's active listening, it's showing that you care, because the person that you're communicating with is most likely going to be your family, your friends, your spouse, your partner, your coworker, and all those people need to know that you care about what they're saying.
Y'all thought I was the smart one. So some more about communication. Validate each other's perspectives to create understanding and trust. Proverbs 15:1. I want to make sure I get this in. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Boy, that's so true. That is so true and so good. Let me tell you. Boy, this is good. Okay, Mr. John Kelsey, we'll tell you more. Okay.
Tell me more about that.
So let me go back. Let me go back to what we were talking about with this clear and open communication is fundamental. In relationships and friendships, be honest. Be honest in what you're talking about. Proverbs 16:28 says, a perverse person spreads strife, and a whisperer separates close friends. It's imperative that in communication with one another, especially in relationships, marriages, whatever it may be, friendships, partnerships, you got to be clear and open in what it is that you're trying to express. That means that you've got to be clear yourself on what it is that you're trying to say. And oftentimes people just throw words out or just say things just to say, or just to be part of a conversation, or, and I always teach that words mean things. Okay. Words mean things. So, think about what it is that you're going to say before you say. The other part of that is know what you're talking about before you speak. Everybody wants to show how smart they are. Everybody wants to say things that they heard on Instagram or on TikTok or on Facebook or whatever the social media they heard. There's all kinds of stuff out there now. They're repeating all kinds of rumors, and I won't even go into them, but there's tons of rumors about this one, tons of rumors about that one. And, some people want to know, hey, what do you think about this? You know what? I really don't, because first of all, I don't know enough about it. Second of all, I was a police officer for 25 years. So I retired. And before that, I came up in the urban area. And um, loyalty was everything, and you kept it close to the vest. I did uh, bodyguard work, escorting numerous stars, important folks, corporate people. I had a security company, and we did high profile parties and events. And you see a lot. You see things. You see people. But your job is not to report that, unless, of course, it's criminal, and then there's protocols for that. But you keep it close to the vest. Put it that way. So I'm kind of veering off.
So you're talking about confidentiality.
Talking about confidentiality. Yeah, talking about confidentiality
in relationships.
It is. Yeah, I'm glad you said that. Confidentiality is real. In other words, if I want to say something and I want to have a conversation with my wife, or I want to have a conversation with my wife about something, I'm not going to go run it past somebody else first and say, hey, I'm ready to talk to my wife, man. What do you think about this? No. The first person I'm going to go to is God. And I'm going to talk to God. And I have conversations with God. And all of them ain't real theological. It's just, hey, Lord, look, I need to work this out, man, because, I don't know what to do.
Am I that difficult?
No, not just with you, but I'm just kidding. But even so.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, man, let me put that up here. Wow. Brother John Kelsey, man, this is good. You can't fix what you won't face. Boy, that's big. That's big, man. That's big. That's one of my good friends right there. You can't fix what you won't face. Yeah, it's so good to do that and understand the importance of that. So if I have an issue, and if I truly love this person, my wife, if I truly honor my friendship and something needs to be discussed, I'm going to go to God in prayer about it, because I want my words to be clear, and I want it to be an honest conversation. I want it to be an honest conversation, so that there's nothing hidden. It doesn't feel like I'm sneaking around something. Just you heard say, just say what's on your mind. Just say what you mean. Say what's on your mind. There needs to be active listening. Don't just wait and say, I can't wait till she finished, because I'm gonna rear into. No, wait and actively listen, because oftentimes you will hear from a person more than what they're really talking about. When you're talking to a person or you're listening to a person, you'll process things, and a lot of times you may say, is this person that I'm talking to really capable of what it is that I need to say to them? And you may just say, okay, cool. You said what you said, and that's it, and let it go. But that's what active listening is. It needs to be an expression of thoughts and feelings without judgment. Like, if you're going to have an open communication with somebody and they respond back to you, then it shouldn't be a thing where you're judging them, because if it's a friend, you care for that friendship. If you call them friend, if it's your wife, your husband, you care for them. So you want the best for the both of you. You're in a relationship, you're trying to work some stuff out, then hey, you want the best. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. I don't know that I had a comment. Well, I did want to say, when you said you sometimes think, is this person capable of what I'm saying? Did you mean, I just want to clarify that statement. Did you mean capable of handling what you're saying?
Well, that's really kind of outside of the friendship relationship thing.
Right.
That's general conversation. So
Okay.
I just threw that out there.
Okay.
But normally, if you're talking to a person and you're listening to the response based upon what you said, or that person opens up with the conversation, then the act of listening should be of a situation where you want to know exactly what's on this other person, on the other person's mind, and through various ways beyond just the words, through facial expressions, through tone, inflection, you can tell really what's on a person's mind. You know what I mean? You can tell what's on a person's mind. Pam says, "Do you think sometimes it's necessary to respond in certain situations?" You know, Pam, I'm going to say this. I have found that oftentimes, sometimes you don't have to respond to everything. We've had conversations, and I will say, you know what, I hear you, but let me process this. Let me think about this, because I want to respond in the right way. And sometimes you just don't know what to say, and you definitely don't want to hurt the person that you love and that you care for. So I find it best to go to God in prayer. If you don't have the answer, or if you don't have if you don't know what to say. And then sometimes outside of a relationship, or even in a relationship, like I said, you don't know what to say, or okay, I hear you. I receive it, and I don't have anything to say about it because I heard you. Now, if it requires a response, that's different. But yeah, that.
I was just going to piggyback off of when communicating or when responding, choose words carefully, especially if it's an emotional, that you can see the person's emotional about what you're talking about, whether it's crying or anger or whatever. You want to choose your words and your response carefully. So I think it is good to sometimes say, to your question, Pam, and then and to your answer to her question, Jeff, is let me think about that. At least it's not a quick, angry, you don't want to fire back at the person if they're angry. Let me process that. I hear what you're saying, but allow me time to process that. And I think that creates an environment of openness, that, yeah, I'm open to responding, but give me some time. Give me some time to process that.
Yeah,
And I'm that type of person because I don't always have an immediate response. And if I did respond immediately, it would be emotional. And I don't like being in that space in my head. So that's a good response. I'm gonna use that on you one day. Give me time to give me some time to process that. I think that was a good. That's really good because you do sometimes need time.
Yeah.
You need time.
You need time, especially if you care for the person.
Especially
that's a good response right there. My sister, I know who that is. You always have to think before you respond.
Yes.
Words are weapons sometimes. I'm telling you, listen, you can't take that away. You can't take that away. I mean, it once they're out there, we've seen wars happen over words.
The wound is open.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Danielle, I mean, yeah, listen, I'm so glad to see you. So glad to see you. So glad to see you. Listen, the next part of this, we're talking about communication, but another part of communication and relationships. We're talking about relationships here. So let me get this in here. Strengthening relationships. We talked about communication. The other part is spending quality time together. Invest time in shared activities or simply being together. Now, quality time builds intimacy and it strengthens connections. Now, everybody's got should know their love language. or they should know um, how to swim in this water. Um, okay, it's very important to understand the importance of spending quality time together. Now, quality time doesn't have to cost anything. Okay, um, time and shared activities, or simply being together. Quality time builds intimacy and strengthens connections. Let me go to the next one on here. Quality time, it could be anything from a regular date night to participating in mutual hobbies or interests. Okay.
May I say something?
Absolutely.
Quality time for me does not always mean activity or even I want to say being in the same room. I find quality time, quiet time is great. Um, where I just know you're in the house and I just feel good. He's home, he's in the house, and we may not be in the same room, but I feel like we're on the same wavelength. We're I'm enjoying, he's enjoying his time, I'm enjoying my time, but we're not having really doing things together. And to me, that's quality. That's quality.
Well, I can preach that. I'm in the house.
You in the house.
My presence is in the house.
Your presence in the
so there's peace in the
house.
house.
So there's peace.
Hallelujah. I feel a shout coming on.
Yeah. So that to me is quality time. I think it's the same for you, because we've spent quality time in a car, just riding in a car for a long distance trip. Nobody's saying anything. We're just enjoying the ride.
Yeah. You know what? It's so funny. We had somebody in the car. I
think it was Joel.
Yeah, we were driving and it was a long drive. And I didn't say anything to my wife. My wife didn't say anything to me. And I think my son asked, said, "Dad, are y'all okay?
Yeah,
y'all mad at each other?" It's like, no, we having a great time. It's like, but you ain't saying nothing to each other. I said, oh, that's just how we do. So, a lot of times it's like, hey, come on, let's take a ride. And I'm listening to music and I'm processing so much because I'm driving, I'm going down, I'm getting lost. Really, I don't even put the GPS on or nothing. I just drive. And it's like, oh, let me turn here. Oh, let me turn here. Let me see where this goes, Of course, I do that way up in the country. Some places you don't want to get lost. That's a whole nother story. But I'm processing stuff. And man, when we get to our destination, I feel so good. I feel so relieved because my wife is with me and we're just hanging out. Sister Wanda, I would include life experiences in the category of quality time. For example, traveling to Europe together. Yeah. That's good stuff right there. That's great stuff. The two of you were my mom's favorite couple, and she was my favorite also. Absolutely.
Who's that?
That's Imonse. That's Imonse. That's ain't too many people can interpret who that is, but that's my sister from, my God, 50 years, almost 60 years. Hey Brian, how you doing? Glad to have you in, man. Pam, each other's presence. That's it. Put it this way, in DC, we always stop past someplace to get the best fish.
Oh, right.
All right.
Yeah.
There
those
it
are
is.
Life experiences.
Whoever
said that, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. But here's the thing. So we're talking about relationships and we talked about communication, but now we're talking about quality time together. Quality time. I'm trying to help my brothers out here, man. Listen, you don't have to spend money and do all the big, ball of stuff. There was what was that thing going around the internet where the sister didn't want to go to the cheesecake factory.
Right.
And I'm like,
not on a first date.
Not on the first date. Yeah. Would you have gone to Cheesecake Factory?
I would have went wherever you took me, honey.
Dog, boy, y'all here.
We could have went to the park and sat on the bench and ate from Wawa.
Listen, I gotta tell you this story. So We went to homecoming one year, and we went to
Howard.
Howard University's homecoming. And oh man, we were ready to ball out all weekend. That's what I said. We're gonna ball out all weekend. No sleep. We're gonna party.
Mm-hmm.
So we went, got dressed in the nines, mink down. I'm suited and booted, gators, the whole nine. And so we going to the parties. Man, I couldn't park.
Couldn't get in anywhere.
Couldn't get anywhere. It was a long line. It was cold. Man, let me tell you what we ended up doing. We went to Wawa.
We found a Wawa.
We found a Wawa.
Wawa there.
We got subs.
Because we hadn't had it in a long
some chips, a tasty cake, and an orange soda. Went back to the hotel and had the best of times.
Yes.
But that's, you know what I mean? Now, you can do that when you know that you don't have to impress each other. And that's quality time. That's quality time. Invest in shared activities or simply just being together. Quality time builds intimacy and strengthens connections. That's what it's all about. Let me go to the next part of this.
I saw somebody saying just doing nothing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to that.
You, sister. I like that.
It could be anything from a regular date night to participating in mutual hobbies or interests. Yeah, I mean, it's always a certain time of day that I try to get home every day. And, we're going to be home with the dogs, with each other, sitting on the couch, going to watch the news. It's a regular habit. We're going to watch the news, going to watch some other shows. And then I'm going to get back to what I'm doing. She's going to get back to what she's doing. But again, we're there. We're in the house and we're together. So I know that you have to build on that, but that's where that honest and communication comes in early on, because then you'll understand about quality time, because you'll talk and you'll ask those questions like, what does quality time mean for you? And if, now I know it's new game out there for these young folks, man. And that whole thing about the Cheesecake Factory and how she didn't want to go on that for the first date, that blew me off, because we've been to some places where
I think you took me to what's the seafood place that was famous back then?
Oh, I balled out the first time.
See, and I can't even remember where we went because that didn't matter. I was just with you.
It just didn't matter. It didn't matter.
It was a seafood place. I know that. Quality
time is just being with him or her, doing nothing. It's time. I love my time with him. That's good stuff.
Yeah,
that's good stuff.
Amen.
Yeah. Hey, that was a cheap day. That was a cheap day. Yeah, it was. To talk about that Wawa. Brother Ken, good to see you, man. Spontaneity is the best ingredient of quality time. Man, you said a word right there, brother. Spontaneity. We, how many times have we been somewhere and said, hey, let's do this?
Mm-hmm.
And had the best of times, Ken.
Mm-hmm.
Had the best of times, but you can do that once you have established trust.
I think trust is really important in a relationship.
Trust. I let me tell you, man, trust is big. Yeah, brother Ken, thank you so much for that. Here we go. Cheesecake Factory is fine with me. These new people are messed up. I'm trying to tell you. How many times we go to DC and the first place we go to is Har's and Dickie's, get us some fish.
Yeah. And eat in
the car. Yeah. Your first date was that Friday. Yeah. Okay.
Is that what I know who said that? That's my sister. It was. And then we went to 7-Eleven.
Yeah, we went to 7-Eleven. That's right.
Orange juice.
But I'm trying to help some folks out here, man. Really, it's not that serious. It is serious. It's serious to learn about one another, and do it early, because you may be around somebody and you may say, I really don't even like this person. Like after 2 or 3 dates, you may say, like, man, this is not the person that I want to spend my time with. I don't even want to do this. And that's okay. That's okay. If that's where you are, then okay, cool. But take time, to invest in finding out if this person is somebody that you could possibly spend some time with, or
If that's what you're looking for.
yeah, if that's what you're looking for, you could be somebody that you just want to hang out with every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
And if that fits the bill, cool. But establish some boundaries early.
Mm-hmm.
Quality time together. Let me go to the next one because wow, time is going fast, man. We got quality time. Oh, this is a big one right here. Mutual respect and support. Show support for each other's strengths, opinions, and boundaries. Mutual support, um, respect for individual differences fosters a supportive environment where both parties feel valued and understand. My wife and I are almost complete opposites in certain things, in most things, actually. I am an extrovert. I got to be around people. I got to be I got to go to that place. We got to go here. We got to go there. My wife, man, listen, she just
Homebody.
homebody. She can be painting, listening to music,
Motown.
Motown. Yeah, yeah. And but you know what? I understand that. I understand that. Now, it took me a minute. It took me a minute, but I was interested in what it was that she was interested in. So uh this is funny. This is fun. My brother Kenny said Cheesecake Factory be doing too much. Menu way too big. Ain't nobody trying to make that level of decision on the first date. Hey, brother Ken, let me tell you something, man. That is so true. We haven't been there in a long time, but
we went there often in Tampa.
yeah, but the last time we were there, it was just so much on the. I was like, look, do you have a buffet platter? That is so true. That is so true. Yeah, opposites attract. That's why it works.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing. Oh wow, yeah, happy birthday, Kiva. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. But let me say this. What was I? Oh, mutual respect.
Mm-hmm.
Respect the individual differences. So I'm jazz, hip hop.
Yeah, I enjoy those.
Yeah, reggae.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Some of my rap.
Almost all genres.
Some of my rap you don't like though. It's a little hardcore.
Okay, yeah. Well, a little bit from everything.
But and my wife loves Motown and all that kind of stuff. So we respect each other. The point I'm trying to make is respect for individual differences. It fosters a supportive environment where both parties feel valued and understood. I know what my wife's likes and dislikes are, so I don't put her in a situation that is going to cause her to be uncomfortable. Because if she's uncomfortable, then I'm not comfortable. If we go out somewhere, I want to be, you know, I want to be cool, and I want my partner to be cool, and that also goes for the fact of when we talk about respect for individual differences, foster a supportive environment where both parties feel valued and understood. And the first part of that, show appreciation for each other's strengths, opinions, and boundaries. Listen, I'm on 10 all the time. I'm maybe 9.5 sometimes, but I can go to 10 real quick. My wife is at 3. Even at crazy times, she may get to a 4. And that drives me even more crazy because I'm like, do you see what's going on? Do you understand what's happening? And she's like, yep. So I'm like, okay. So I don't say anything. I don't get mad at her for not getting mad. It just, I know who she is. I know what she does. I know what it is. And it's mutual respect. It's mutual respect. You have anything to say before we move on?
Yeah. If you're fostering or trying to strengthen a relationship, it is always good. And I had to learn this too. You said on the outset, you had to learn me as well. You if you're interested, if you want to foster a relationship, try to learn that person's likes or interests. Try to be interested in them. It's taken me a long time, I think, because sports was not my thing, and that's all that's on all day, especially now.
Football season.
Football, basketball, whatever. But I've learned to let him have his time with that. But I also became interested in, now I know a little bit about it, whereas I know what's going on. So basically, I'm just saying, whatever that person you want to have a better relationship with, whether that's a friend, whatever, try to find out what their interests are, and try to become interested in it, learn about it, you know, immerse yourself in it, maybe, and so that you can enjoy that thing with them that they like so much. And I feel like invite them into your interest as well.
Yeah.
I'm an art person, and Jeff has learned. I don't think you were too much into art,
No, I
but
liked it. I liked it.
he learned a lot about art.
Mm-hmm.
He could tell me more about art than I ever knew. But I see him investing himself in my interests,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, that not always, but a lot,
Well, it's because
Mhm.
you're your worst critic. Of course, that's how people are when they're doing stuff. They're their own worst critics.
When they're creating,
When they're creating, yeah. But we actually sat down together one time and painted some
Oh
pictures.
yeah, and that
And
was the most fun. That was so
yeah,
much
that was fun.
fun.
That was fun because I wanted to, I love art, but I never had the chance to really paint and do color schemes and all that kind of stuff. So I sat down one day and said, okay, let me dive into this and see what this is all about. And I saw another side of her that was like, man, this passion came out, you know what I mean? Because she was teaching it and having a good time and showing me, oh no, you got to do this, you got to do that. And you know, I was like, wow, okay, cool, cool, cool. So I saw that. So now, you know, I always try to push her into doing this because I know this makes her happy. And you know, a happy wife is a happy life. Wanda, oh my God, you two are just like me and my husband. Boundaries work. When he gets in my car, he has to listen to old school and gospel music. When I'm in his, they listen to jazz. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you know what? It works. And you know, oh boy, I don't want to get in trouble here, but
Mm,
there's a certain station that comes on, and there's a particular disc jockey, DJ. You can tell how old I am. I said disc jockey, but there's a particular DJ that comes on, and my wife doesn't like to hear her voice. So, and I'm like, Dad, going right in the middle of a good thing, you know. So I'll turn it off now because I know that she doesn't like it. So I'll just turn to another station, and by the time I think she went off, I'll go back to the station because they play a long list of music. But hey, you know, we have mutual respect for each other. Wow, I didn't know that. Your husband used to paint. That's a good thing. Okay, I forgot he's a Renaissance person. I was getting ready to say something else. But anyway, mutual respect and support. Let me go into this because this is big. Conflict resolution. Disagreements are normal, but how you handle them is crucial. Work towards resolving conflicts respectfully and constructively. Let me say that again. Disagreements are normal, but how you handle them is crucial. You got to work. Key word. Remember, I told you words mean something. You have to work towards resolving conflicts respectfully and constructively. Find solutions rather than escalating the issue. Now, again, I told you this is not just for marriage. This is for friendships, relationships of any sort. Um, if you have work situations where your partners, in a corporation or partners in a business. You know, the whole thing is, how do we get this enterprise to produce the best package, which is peace, which is unity, What do we do? Disagreements are normal, but how you handle them is crucial. Remember what I told you. I started off with this Proverbs 15:1. Proverbs 15:1. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Okay? There's a way to deal with some stuff. And when we're dealing with conflict resolution, man, work towards resolving conflicts respectfully and constructively. Find solutions rather than escalating the issue. We've had talks I'm not going to say we had arguments, but we've had arguments. We had some disagreements.
It's
disagreements.
We human.
And it's a thing of, okay,
it's going to happen.
I got to figure out how to work this out.
Mm-hmm.
I got to figure out how to work this out, because at the end of the day, I still want this corporation, this unit. And I hope you people don't think that I'm disrespecting my wife when I talk like this, because I talk business all the time. But I say this to my wife, and I used to say this to my children. We used to sit down, we used to have table time, and we were a unit. And I want this unit to win. So we've got to act as a unit. We've got to act as a unit. So, my brother Juwan, you got to act as a unit. So we've got a disagreement. We've hit a wall. How do we tear this wall down? Because at the end of the day, we want this to produce something positive. We want to produce something positive. And that thing that we're trying to produce is a cohesive, a friendly, a mutual respect relationship with one another. Because we got more to do. We got to raise children. We got to raise grandchildren. And let me say this, and we're going to deal with that before we close. You're always raising children. I don't care how old they are. If you're a parent, you're always raising children and grandchildren. This is big right here. Counseling helps. Matter of fact, I dealt with my counselor today. I think that you should have Jesus and a counselor. It's nothing wrong. You should have God and a counselor. Let's not build a wall. No, we're not building any walls. So disagreements are normal, but how you handle them is crucial. So you got to talk things out. And that's where we get to communication. You see how everything ties in together? We talked about communication. We talked about quality time together. We talked about mutual support, mutual respect and support. And now we're talking about conflict resolutions. You can't have conflict resolution between any partnership, any friendship, any marriage, anything, if you have not done 1, 2, 3 first. Because those things that we talked about, communication, that's building trust. Quality time together, that's learning one another. That's learning to honor one another. Mutual respect and support, that's really building a strong foundation. And then conflict resolution, you learn to deal with the issues. And last but not least on this subject is emotional support and empathy. Now, let me deal with this word empathy, because a lot of people like, what do you mean by this word empathy? Empathy means the ability to understand and share the feelings with each other. The ability to understand and share feelings of another. It's the ability to sense other people's emotions, coupled with the ability to imagine what someone else might be thinking or feeling. So again, it's active participation. Be there for each other in both good and challenging times. Show empathy, offer encouragement, and provide a listening ear when needed. Lord, let me tell you something. We are witnesses of this right here. Your boy has had a roller coaster ride this year. It's been down and it's been way up. And then it's been way down. And
Hills and valleys.
boy, hills and valleys, peaks and valleys, all kinds of stuff. And I'm usually the cheerleader, come on, we can do this, we can do it. But I needed cheering. I needed cheering. And I thank God that I have someone who understood when to and when not to, because there's times when you just need to let a person process what they're going through.
That's learning their boundaries. Absolutely.
And my wife knows that when I'm quiet, I may be quiet for a day or two. And it's a thing we've learned. The question was, you mad? And it's like, no, I'm just thinking, because it's that serious. Because my response, however I respond to what I'm dealing with, has an effect on this corporation. So I don't want to deal with anything in a way because I got another side of me. I got another side of me. And I don't want that side to raise up. So I have to be in prayer. But then after I'm in prayer, I have to shut up and listen. And I think that's what most of us forget to do. We talk to each other, but we don't listen. We don't have active listening. And that means active listening to one another. That means active listening and that means shutting your mouth and sitting down sometimes.
May I say something here?
Absolutely.
Many times while you're going through this emotional experience or these ups and downs, your partner is able to see what you cannot see. And so in active listening, I want to include if they're sharing something that they see happening or can share and be another perspective of what is happening to you, because it's happening to me. If it's happening to you, it's also happening to me. And I may have a different perspective. I would say be open to that, because you're going through, sometimes while you're going through, you can't see anything else and you don't want to always hear everything else. But if you have a partner, a close friend, a wife, a spouse, a husband, that person is also experiencing your roller coaster ride, and they have a perspective that you may not know. Of course, you don't know, and it's good to be open to that. That's basically saying. And that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense, because you've said stuff to me through these times, and it's like, wow, you know what? My wife told me that. Oh, whoo, man, I'm glad I said that. Thank you, Holy Ghost. Let me say this. Please listen to this. When we're talking about communication, mutual respect and support, brothers, listen to your wives. Wives, listen to your husbands. Friends, listen to your good friends. We see things that you don't. Your wife sees things that you don't. Your husband sees things that you don't.
Your good friend.
Your good friend sees things that you don't, because they're on the outside and they see from the outside, and you may be too intimately involved to understand exactly what's going on. So here's the thing. Early on, I'm being honest here. Early on, my wife would say something. I'd be like, "Oh man, go ahead with that." You know what I mean? You don't really understand what's happening, or you know, okay. Well, let me tell you something. I learned that lesson the hard way of not listening, and now I understand even the more. I understand even the more. Um, uh, I understand even the more because we see things for each other that possibly do harm. And if you allow that person who is telling you something, um, if you allow that person who's telling you something to, you said that, they'll give you insight that I guarantee you did not see. That's what God made to help me. Help me. So again, I go back to my corporation situation. We want the best for each other. We want the best for each other. So we need to have our antennas up to make sure that our partner's safe. We got to have our partners back. That's it, Brother Keith. Hopefully you have a mature partner. That goes back to number one, communication and quality time with one another. You get to know who you're dealing with. So yeah, listen to your partner. Cornell said, can ego play a part in communicating? Yes, absolutely. You got to put your ego away. Just toss that to the side. Ain't no egos in this. That's where transparency comes along. You got to be transparent with your partner, and you got to understand that your partner is there to assist you. When you got a real friend, a real friend will pull you to the side and say, "Hey, Doc, look, you got to tighten up." You know what I mean? You gotta tighten up. Yeah. Listen, I'm sorry. Thank you, Kiva. If you're watching with us, you gotta hit the like and the share button. Like and subscribe if it's on YouTube. Hit the like buttons and subscribe on Facebook so you will see when we're on again. And if you're watching, you can comment. Your comments will come up. We'll deal with them. But we're talking about relationships. But I want to move on to something else that is just as important, and that's our relationships with our grown children, because that's a whole relationship issue that people have a problem with also. Okay. And let me deal with that for a second. Let me deal with that. uh One of the things I want to get across to you is, when you're dealing with grown children, respect their independence. Respect their independence. Acknowledge their autonomy and respect their choices. Not just grown children, but even as your children are growing up. Avoid overstepping boundaries by allowing them to make their own decisions, even if you don't agree. Listen, I don't agree with all the decisions that my children make now. They're grown and on their own, but they're grown and on their own. Mm-hmm. So it's their decision. And as we always taught them, there's consequences for every choice that you make. There's consequences for every choice that you make. Go ahead. I see you biting at the bit to say something about that.
Who me?
Yeah.
I was just thinking about our youngest granddaughter is 3. And her mother uses that same what you just said, mm-hmm. practice, mm-hmm. to allow her daughter to make decisions. And when we were growing up, no, you do what I say. And we did not really allow that freedom to make your own decisions. And so I respect that, even though that was not my way. It took me a while to not try to tell Brittany what to do with her daughter. because that's not the way we raised them. You did what I said. You didn't have a choice. You did what I said. But I had to respect her decisions and the way that she was bringing up her daughter. And so it actually helps the children make their own choices,
Yeah.
experience the ability to make their own choices, as well as building their self-esteem. And so in whatever you were saying,
You got to respect
agree.
their independence.
It starts. You're right. Respect their independence
and respect their choices.
At a young age.
Yeah.
Because I think we waited until they were maybe teens before we put that into practice.
Yeah.
Because you are going to do what I say.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way we were raised.
Yeah. That's funny. So, man, that's easier said than done, sir. Look,
it is.
You know what? Listen, it took a while. You're right.
It's still taking.
Yeah.
Because we come home and say, okay.
Yeah. You know,
I wouldn't have did it that way.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done it that way. We just spent time with my daughter and my youngest son, and we had a great time. And they do things different.
Yes.
But it's cool. That's their thing. It's a new time. You know, it's not what we used to do.
Mm-hmm.
So respect their independence. And for the sake of time, let me get through this. Have open communication. And now we're still talking about really relationships, but we're talking about relationships with our oldest children, adult children. Mm-hmm. Encourage open and honest communication. Express your concerns or thoughts respectfully without being overbearing. Mm. Create a space where they feel comfortable discussing their lives and decisions. So now, you know, we've had this forever. Since they were young, we used to have table time, and everybody used to come to the table with a pen and a pad. And, you know, we wanted to know, okay, what's your plan? How you doing in school? If you were doing bad in school, okay, how do you deal with getting back on track? What's your plan for getting back on track? What's your plan? How are you going to deal with this? So it was always open communication. So we still have that. But now the open communications, the difference is for me, and a lot of times I'll tell you, hey, let them deal with that. That's his decision. That's her decision. You know what I mean? We'll be there to support. And let me tell you, it hurts. Sister Wanda, she said, no matter how old my children are, 31, 41, 44, they're still my children. The role for me is to advise and recommend through reflection and storytelling. Oh, man, let me tell you, you know what? That is so true. I just heard something today and I wrote it down because I knew we were going to be talking about that. Oh, man, doggone it. I didn't save it. Anyway, yes, Wanda, you are so right. You're so right. Yeah. You have to remember that with an aging mother. You got to respect their opinions, but you got to have open communication and express your concerns and thoughts respectfully. And then, you know, hey man, they're grown and okay. But just know that there's consequences for every decision that you make. Now, if you do something that's crazy, you know, I can't support you. You know, I can't support that.
When you're talking to your children.
When you're talking to your children, yeah. This new breed of raising these kids is real different. I'm not agreeing with a lot of this new parenting. Say it. Some of this stuff
it's different.
It's different.
I said all I'm gonna say.
So we got grown children, and they got children, and they raise their children differently, and it's like, okay, I find out what the rules are. Like I always ask. Hey, do y'all deal with this?
But it took you time to ask.
It did. Do y'all deal with this? And it's like, okay, all right, that's hey. Now there's gonna be some respect in this house. It's gonna be he won't say you. Oh, I can't wait to see you. Um yeah, this is good right here. That's because they're trying to be their friends instead of their parents. Oh, he would say it. Say it, sister. Say it. I ain't trying to be my children's friends like that. I'm still your parent, and there's going to be some respect as a parent. You're not going to talk to me as your friend, and I'm not going to talk to you as a friend. Now, I'm your friend, but I'm your parent, and there's a difference. There's got to be that line. And when you cross that line, that's a long road. And the closer you get back from that disrespect, the better you're gonna be. But when you disrespect me and you know you let it go for a long time, hey man, that road, man, you know, you start having let me go on. So we're talking about respect and independence,
Move on.
open communication, offer support without enabling. Let me say that again. Offer support without enabling. Be supportive without fostering dependency. Provide guidance or assistance when needed, but encourage them to take responsibility for their own lives and decisions. Let me tell you something. I see parents going into debt. I see parents doing some things that, you know, I'm like, what are you doing? Why are they doing that? But you know what? That's their thing. That's their thing. But I'm going on the data. I'm going on the research and offer support without enabling, because you got grown kids that they know that when I mess up, or if I mess up, mommy, daddy, they're going to bail me out. They're going to be there, and they got a cushion. You got to take the cushion from underneath, and you got to let some folks fall. Now, some people, you know, going to have some problems with that. That's cool. But what I'm not going to do at this point in our lives is become a crutch for some grown folk. That's friends. That's children. You know, I got some friends that do some childish stuff. And you know what? Guess what?
A friend of ours told us, said his motto was, your irresponsibility is not my priority. So, you know, after a certain age, you're an adult now. And you're going to have to, you sinking or you're going to swim.
Gonna sink or you're gonna swim.
So,
You know, and
what,
you know, there's
most of the time they swim.
Yeah,
Once
yeah.
you let them go, they do well.
You know, there's this thing about and we are out of time, but I'm gonna go 5 more minutes just to clear this up. Oh, how hard. Yeah. I'm gonna find me a chill and get rich. I'm gonna leave that alone. Oh, what a hard thing for me to get past. Yeah, let me tell you something. It ain't easy. Like I told you at the outset of this, we ain't experts. We just trying to help everybody. We're just trying to help everybody from some experience. You know, it used to be a thing, you know, you turn 18, you graduate from high school. Your mom was like, what you gonna do? Because you gotta get out of here. Well, that's not always the best. Like, you gotta help some people with an exit plan. You gotta help some people with an exit plan. You gotta help some people transition into their next. So I wouldn't advise people just, you know, look, you 18 now, you graduate from high school. I need that key in 2 weeks. Let's help our young folks out with a transition. So I'm not going to say that, but learn how to be supportive without enabling. Provide guidance or assistance when needed, but encourage them to take responsibility for their own lives and decisions. I got 2 more and I'll be done. Set clear expectations. Establish clear boundaries about your role in their lives. Clarify what kind of support you're willing to provide and what they're responsible for handling independently. Um, Man, listen, we will do whatever we can for our children. And then there's some things that we're going to talk about. And I think you should talk to your children. Like, how did you get into this situation? And if I do this for you, what happens 2 weeks from now? What happens next month? Will you be in a position so that you don't have to come back to me? Or is this just a temporary crutch? Because I don't want to just give you a temporary thing. I want to help you in totality, because that's how our God works. Our God works in totality. Our God sees things beyond what we see. God's time is not our time, and what God sees is way beyond what we could ever think or imagine. So we've got to be there for our children the same way. We got to talk to them and say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna help you in this situation, but I want to make sure that it's the right type of help, because what you're asking for may not be what you need. You may need something else. So let's talk about this. Let's set some clear expectations. Let's find out how you got into this situation. And let's find out what we can do so that next month we're not dealing with the same thing. Brother Spearman says, after praying for college tuition, braces, food, clothing, and shoes, car insurance, and other stuff, I feel like I've done my part. Yeah, you have, my brother. Yes, you have, for sure. So set clear expectations, but talk it out. Communication. Again, we're talking about relationships and handling boundaries with your grown children. So talk it out. Communication. Last two, respect their privacy. This is so big. Recognize their need for privacy and space. Avoid prying on intrusive behavior, and respect their personal boundaries. Man, listen to me. This is big. Oftentimes, something be said, and my wife would have to tell me, hey, shut your mouth. Or I have to tell her, hey, that ain't our business. That's how they do stuff. That's what they want to do. That's cool. That's their life.
And somebody else said that was such a hard thing to do. I think a couple of people said, as a parent,
yeah, it's hard.
That is hard to do.
Yeah,
I think I went beyond a limit. So you told me.
Yeah.
Just here recently with one of my children, but at the same time, I think they value your opinion, your how you see the situation.
Yeah. Oh, this is good right here. Matter of fact, this is going to be one of our guests on the 9th. I tell my children, like God says, I will do exceedingly abundantly above all that you may ask. And you see in parentheses, according to the power that worketh in you. It's the Ephesians 3:20 philosophy for me. That's right. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good, Sister Wanda. I call it doing your due diligence. Yeah. Yeah. Let's help you to win. Let's help you to win. How did you get into this situation? Is this a temporary thing? Okay, cool. Hey, I got you. I got you. If we can, I got you. But I don't want this to be a reoccurring issue.
I have it.
So how do we get you to the point where you're not constantly dealing with this? Mm-hmm. Last but not least, be flexible. Be flexible. Be flexible. Understand that boundaries may evolve over time. Be open to renegotiating boundaries as circumstances changes, as your relationship dynamics shift. I'm sorry. Let me say that again. Understand that boundaries may evolve over time. Be open to renegotiating the boundaries and circumstances because circumstances change or as your relationship dynamics change. Listen, everything shifts. Seasons happen. And you've got to be able to shift with that season. You got to be able to shift with that season. Seasons are we've got 4 seasons that we have to deal with, and God ushers in each season through a breath of life, a breath, that pneuma, that ruach. And there's seasons in our life. There's seasons in our relationships. There's seasons in our relationships with our children. And you've got to trust God in those seasons, because God knows what we don't know. No man has to push any buttons when it comes to winter, spring, summer, or fall.
Amen.
It's just ushered in every time. And God knows when to bring rain. God knows when to bring snow. God knows when to bring heat. Now, man can do things to bring on more than that, but God knows. And God knows for us the same thing. God knows the seasons in our relationships. God knows the seasons in our relationships with our children. So talk to God. Spend some time with God. Shut your mouth, sit down, listen to God. The other part of that is, as I said, communication, quality time, mutual respect, conflict resolution, emotional support and empathy, respect their independence, open communication, again, offer support without enabling, set clear expectations, respect their privacy, and be flexible. Listen, we're way out of our time. I'm so thankful for everybody who was part of this conversation. Loved your comments. Imon say, when I see you, we're gonna get you. I'm gonna drive to DC just to see you. But thank you all. I love you, my sister Kiva, Pam, Kathy, all of you, my cousins, all of Sharon, brother Philip, all of you, Cornell. Thank you for all of your participation. I want to thank my wife for making a guest appearance. She did good, right? She did good. Come on, let me see your comments. She did good.
Pam wants to know what's the next.
What's the next?
What's next week's subject?
Oh, what's next week's subject?
And let me say also thank you to all of you. So glad to see you all on here. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday, and I pray God's blessing for you through the new year and beyond.
Oh, that's cousin Lynn. She said she did excellent. She did excellent.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, don't blow her head up now. Don't blow her head up.
You can't.
But thank you again. Next week, next week is going to be big. Next week, we're going to be dealing with racial and church trauma. Dr. Gigi Kenyazi from, she's out in California, I think she is. She's got a book. She's going to release the book on this show.
Oh, wow.
She's going to release the book on this show, Dr. Gigi Kenyazi. She was one of my cohort members at Howard University. Man, you gotta be here next week. Make sure you're here next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Dr. Gigi Kenyazi is going to be dealing with racial trauma and church trauma, church hurt, all of that stuff.
So important.
Boy, this is going to be so big. Mm-hmm. So, hey, you know how I always say, go out, meet needs, solve problems. We thank you. Peace and love.
Share it with your friends.
Share it with your friends. Share this stream with your friends. It'll be available on.
Sister Kiva reminded.
Yeah, that's it. And go to YouTube and hit the subscribe and the like buttons. Share this with your friends. It'll be on YouTube Live, Instagram Live, and Facebook Live. And Imon say, yeah, you make sure you be here. You got some trauma we want to deal with you. And send a couple of them fish sandwiches down this way. Hey, we love you. God bless you. Go out and have a great time. A great new year. Happy New Year to you. Do something fun. Be safe. And stop being helicopter parents to them 40-year-old children of yours. The YouTube is the Dr. Jeff Experience. I'll send it to you, my sister. All right. Stop being helicopter parents to them 40-year-old people. Get them people out your house, eating up all your food, drinking up all your juice. All right, guys. Take care. Love you. God
Enjoyed
bless.
you. Love you. Good night.